They like the Spanish version though too, she's full of bilingual.
That's what
Gotcha.
on us.
Yeah.
Half of it.
So cool, it's a good family.
Call the meeting to order, please. Rise for the pledge.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Ms. Beck, would you please take the roll call?
Wondergen.
Here.
Ybor.
Here.
Here, Guardian. Palmer.
Here.
DeHaan. Klein.
Here. Thank you. Please note, as a courtesy to members of the audience and to the Board of Education, to silence your cell phone. The public will only be able to speak during public comment if signed up. Do we have any other public comment cards to collect at this time? All right. Moving on, consent action agenda. Can I get a motion to approve our board regular meeting minutes from last week or last session?
So moved.
Support.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? All right, carries. Moving on to regular action agenda items. Our first item is the Compass College Course Articulation Agreement. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following articulation agreement with Compass College of Film and Media. The agreement would provide the opportunity for GHS students who chose to attend Compass College to receive credit for successful completion of GHS AV courses. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Support.
Thank you.
And very excited to bring this to you tonight. Dr. Merkel will explain what it's about.
Thank you. So Compass College is a local film and media college, downtown Grand Rapids, and one of their admissions counselors happens to be a parent in our district. Additionally, two of our students last spring, you may remember, won awards for short films they submitted at Compass College, and so it has initiated some relationships, and at no cost to us, we are able to, they are willing to offer, because of the strength of our AV program, free credit for our students who complete AV1, AV2 with a C or better. They will give credit in basic editing, and our students who complete AV3 can receive credit for their cinematography class, those who choose to attend. So it's win-win, right? They're encouraging students to come to them. But what they have also found is that students who come to them from a school like ours that have a very solid AV program enter some of those very beginning classes in their school and are a little disengaged. And this gets them right into the goods. Compass College, as you'll see in the background, offers a 4-year Bachelor of Fine Arts degree as well as an associate's degree.
So when it comes to this, I mean, I think it's very cool. So the students, if they're going to take this, do they automatically become enrolled in this institution?
Once they become enrolled in the institution, then they can apply for that automatic.
Okay,
credit.
so it's dual enrollment kind of a thing. And then how many of our students in the past have gone to this particular college to study film? Because most of the AV that I know, probably 4, have gone to the other side of the state.
Yeah, and there's a school in Chicago that we've had a number of kids go to as well. We've had about a half a dozen in recent years, and so I asked that exact same question, and he said, in my records, in the time I've been here, it's been about a half a dozen. I didn't ask him to go back beyond about 10 years.
Okay.
A lot have gone to Grand Valley also.
Yep.
Huge. Yep, a lot of kids from AV.
I think it's a nice opportunity, you know.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited about it, and I don't need to brag about our AV program. Everybody knows it. But we are. In a couple of weeks, we're going to talk about some additional sports broadcasting things that we have on the horizon. They're pretty exciting as well.
You know, we've got a lot of students going to that post-secondary. Have we checked into the transferability of the credits to other colleges? I know they're accredited. And do you know how many credits they're receiving?
2 classes worth, 3 credits each.
Okay.
I just want to know if the kids know about Compass College. Like, is that something that is in their
Well,
thoughts of
so
going
just
to?
recently, I think,
Okay.
because we saw this just last spring,
Just that
again,
year.
with those award winners. We had, I think we entered 4 short films in their contest, and we took first and second. I
Wow.
mean, that's hard to beat, so.
So maybe we'll see more kids
I
go.
think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And the film route is interesting, right? We bring up the broadcasting and everything else. There are so many things within our AV program that, we talk about the filmmaking, but in a meeting last week with Mr. Cox and a student around the sports broadcasting piece, talking about the behind the scenes, producing and things like that. So we offer a lot of great opportunities.
Cool. Nice.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion passed. Congratulations to our AV department and our students for this great opportunity. Our next item of business is regarding the MASB election of school board delegates. It is recommended that the Board of Education select a delegate and an alternate to represent the Grandville Board of Education at the MASB 2022 Delegate Assembly. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Support. Sure. And this is an annual thing. The MASB 2022 Delegate Assembly, you can see, is Thursday, October 20th at 7 p.m. at the Grand Traverse Resort. And what we typically do on an annual basis is elect one person from the board, or select one person from the board to be the person that votes on topics and things that they bring up there with their handbook and their guidelines and so on. And having an alternate, again, is always good in case that other person is sick or can't attend. So we're just bringing this to you tonight. If you can determine if somebody knows they're going to go, it might be good to select them and an alternate. If not, we can table it to old business. You guys can see what you want to do and we'll come back to it.
I
Are
can
you
tell
planning to
I know
go?
I
I can
can't
tell
go,
you I've
so-
gone to the last 2. It's been a great opportunity. I was in the delegates for the last one. I highly encourage continued participation, and there's a lot of great opportunities. I know that I called Amy. I didn't know Brent was going to be gone today, but I called Amy ahead of time to see if she was available and interested, knowing that she was going to be gone tonight, and she said she's not. She'll be out of the country at the time,
Oh,
so
okay.
it is open.
Christy, you say no?
No, I can't, I'm busy.
Okay. Did Brett get back with you?
I wasn't able to speak to him.
Or? Okay.
Any interest?
No.
We can table it too.
Yeah,
I'm-
okay,
Yeah,
let's
let's
do
table it.
that.
I have plans, but I'm in that area, so if I need to be
Oh,
there,
zip
I'll be
in,
there. I
zip
think it's
out.
important to do that, so, yeah, I think it's important for us to have representation there, and also if I can get an extra course in, and
Okay.
that would be a great opportunity, so I'd like to give Brent the opportunity
Yeah,
to
yeah.
discuss it too, so let's
And that's
move it to old
totally
business.
fair.
Thank you. Our next item of business is the Cisco maintenance agreement. Always fun stuff.
Money, money, money.
It is recommended the Board of Education approve the renewal of the Cisco maintenance agreement at a cost of $69,196.33.
So moved.
Support?
Thank you, thank you.
And notice this is a goldenrod.
Yes.
We brought it a little after the fact on, talking with Walt. We eventually did get the quote here, and I'll turn it over to Walt and let him explain this piece.
So this is something I bring to you annually. This is the renewal of the maintenance and licensing agreement for essentially a lot of the district's critical network infrastructure. So it provides support and licensing for things like the phone system, the district's E911 system, voice routers, critical network switch infrastructure that provides network and internet connectivity throughout the district. So obviously, licensing is needed to make it work, but then we also carry a maintenance agreement on some of our critical network infrastructure. In the event that some of that equipment would fail, then I can reach out to Cisco and have some resources available to cover through problems.
I think I ask this question all the time. Is there any way to get a discount on a multi-year contract?
So actually what we did the last time I brought this to you a year ago was we didn't necessarily get a discount for a multi-year contract, but we did do a multi-year agreement which locks in pricing. So the pricing is locked in for 3 years, so this is the second year of that.
Got it, okay, great. Thank you, Walt.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Carries. That's everything for our regular action agenda this evening. Moving on to reports and discussion. We'll start with construction updates.
Sure. So a lot of things happening, and things are going along quite well. I sent you some pictures from the Grandville Early Learning Center. Very excited to see that. That's going to open up this fall. Teachers were in, and it's really coming together and looking sharp. I'll turn things over to Heather, and she has a few things that she wants to share.
Sure, so just to give you an update on the brand new 7-8 building, this week they are precast topping the track, and the MEPs, which mechanical, electrical, plumbing rough-ins are starting, and fire protection piping. So a lot of cool stuff. It changes really fast up there. It's pretty fun to see. So the GEC Phase 4 is pretty much wrapped up. We will have temporary power panels to start the year. The panels that will be permanent, the ship date was moved back to September 14th. So we have the state inspector has been called in, and we're looking to get final approval for the start of school.
Okay.
What else do we have? The 5-6 remodel of the current middle school. We are in the design documentation stage, and so far everything is looking good compared to what we were planning on budget-wise. So we'll be bringing that to you later this fall for approval once we get the bids out for that. And then on the horizon, mainly from the sinking fund, we're looking at the high school roof, the east staff lot, asphalting that, Century Park roof, and looking at updating some boilers at Century Park in the high school. Those are big things for 2023. Questions?
I just had a question around the tours that you did for 7th and 8th, and I sorry, you probably reported on it, but did it go well? Did people show and
they did,
and
yeah.
were interested?
It was great. I think we had it limited to about 50 per tour, but they were able to break it down into smaller groups and kind of walk through. And I thought we had good feedback, good turnout.
Good feedback.
I know a lot of people were, well, are you going to do another one? But we'll have a ribbon cutting when it's time to open the building.
Oh, okay.
It drove from, Home Depot to over to Costco this weekend. And it really looked nice. I mean, the school up there on the hill, and you can finally start to see the architecture coming through and what it's going to look like. And it really was kind of cool looking.
They've got the exterior panels up now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit more of what the form is going to be. It looked really neat.
Can you drive up in there, or?
Not.
Now they
There you
should.
go.
No, they should. No.
I was able to go
Lingo,
there.
just drive.
I took a lot of pictures too, Barbara, if you want to see me. The rooms
yeah.
are so spacious, and the best part about them is they have beautiful windows. So just really great light coming into the room.
Safety windows?
Yep, they went through all the safety protocols with us when we were there, and the gymnasium is enormous, just absolutely enormous. And I'm excited about the opportunities for that space as well. So lots of great things. The library, it was fun to visualize the learning stairs there and be able to walk up those. Yeah, it's great.
neat facility.
Any questions? All right, what about the curriculum process and update?
Sure. So thought it would be good to come back to you. We're starting the year out here and talk about a few things that are happening this year. Talk a little
Thank
bit
you.
about
So,
curriculum and curriculum process.
for everybody at this table, no secret, our curriculum process that we run through at the beginning of every year. Reflecting back last year, if you remember the culmination of that, one of the big ones was the science adoption for 7th and 8th grade. Carrying forward, at the beginning of this year, we're gonna bring that down and start a conversation about science resources in 5th and 6th grade. What's exciting about that, on the heels of the construction, is we're starting some conversation about how the impact of a 5-6 building will be on curriculum, and we're really excited about bringing teams of teachers at those grade levels together. It's been since Prairie View, since 6th grade has been together, and 5th grade, I don't think ever. So we're gonna start that conversation, bringing them together, and it may be a 2-tiered piece. It may be 6th grade one year and then 5th grade the year after, once they are together, but we're gonna really let the teachers guide that process, and we're excited about that. We'll be looking into 7th and 8th grade social studies resources, which we haven't in a long, long time. And exploring what's out there and if there's a good product for us. And then at the high school level, we're going to be really excited. We're ironing out some details for some new courses to be included in the course catalog. And this is always hard for me to understand that we're bringing approval for the following year's courses already. You guys all know they have to be in that course catalog by November or December. Ron Denning is working on a great course for a CTE class in auto repair.
Nice.
Really excited about that. He wrote a GEF grant for a lift last year, and that's installed, and so we're ready to move forward with that. We're really excited about that. And then we're also really excited, I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year, but Chris Gronhout has been working on some aeronautics courses. And so Aeronautics 1, potentially Aeronautics 2. He did some independent studies last year on drone piloting, and where students could earn certification to fly drones. This is great. We've seen our robotics team do this. We're working to expand that and build some courses. The aeronautics component, first semester, starts with general aeronautics and then it branches, and it could be drone piloting, it could be ground school or flight training. There are a few schools in the state that do this now. We know we have a school over at the at the airport to compete with a little bit.
Same kind of learning?
Yep, we've had a lot of conversation, and there's a school in Detroit that's really doing it well. And that's our pie in the sky vision, is to make it a little bit like our EMT course, where not only they get, because we can offer a course where they do ground school training, right? And that's it, and then they get a ground school certification, and then if they choose, they can go off and do the piloting and the in-flight and that sort of thing, and that's where the bucks come in, but that's our vision. We've done some grant writing, we're looking into some CTE dollars to be able to supply much, if not all of that cost, to where students could earn a pilot's license before they graduate high school.
What do you think the chance of getting the CTE dollars is?
We think it's good. We think. So two things. Again, we're learning what we can from these other schools that are doing it, but they're also making some modifications to the CTE requirements. The big hang up right now for a flight training component is you have to have a professional from the field, from that career. So the school in Detroit has it right. They have a retired pilot who's just passionate about it.
Ask David, Dave Edgman.
All right.
Retired pilot.
I will do that.
The other thing is, in developing this curriculum, are you tying into or consulting with KCTC on their similar programs? So,
Yep, 100%.
KCTC currently has a aviation electronics program and an aviation, it's not electronics, They have two aviation programs, but neither of them are for flight. They are for supporting crews, so air traffic control, maintenance, that's it, aviation
Yeah.
maintenance.
It goes,
Yeah,
I don't want to say it
And
goes
the
along
auto
with their
repair,
diesel type
so-
program, but it's similar to that.
yeah.
As we expand, KCTC, for the most part, is probably gonna overlap with some of the stuff that we have, and if we can just take probably some of the best in the field right now, at least in West
Oh,
Michigan.
absolutely. And tap into some of their resources whenever
Exactly.
we can.
Yeah, I into it.
Are we
People want
gonna
the bus, if they want.
Are we going to offer any of those courses through independent study next year again? It caught my eye in the communicator, which shout out to Jill Bondering for doing a
Yep.
great job on this, but that caught my eye. So I'm glad we're talking about it tonight. Are we doing those again next year?
Perfect timing. Our plan, yes, is to expand a little bit on the drone courses.
Okay.
I don't know a student count yet.
Okay.
But we learned a lot. It was our first time.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot, and some of the, I think we had 6 kids. 3 of them, I think, chose to take the certification test, and 3 did not. It's almost like the AP exam, right?
Yeah,
And I don't know the pass rate.
yeah. Okay, good. Good questions.
Nice update.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Love
We
seeing all the
always
career
appreciate
and
Nice job.
options. All good? Okay, back to school update.
Yeah, just another
There
update
it
like
is.
last time. We're 3 weeks from today is
Yeah.
our first day of school. Hard to believe. I'm so excited. Today's the first day of August, as you know, and that usually brings a lot of enthusiasm and urgency. It's interesting to watch when August hits, how many people start coming in to, enroll or have questions or different things there. You start seeing staff around and planning meetings going on, and it's just an exciting time. This is what's called Dead Week of athletics, as you know, this week. And starting next week, the athletics will ramp up, and many other clubs, activities, and so on will be going on. But it's been a great summer, very busy summer. Really looking forward to the fall, and can't wait to get the kids back. So, any questions that you have about school?
How are we doing with hiring? We have quite a list of
Yes.
retirements.
Yes,
How are
we
we
are,
doing?
we are doing very well. We're wrapping up. We have a
Okay.
few more positions that we're hiring for. And so if all, anticipating all goes as normal between now and then, we should be good to go.
Okay.
I do feel bad for some of our neighbors, as I know one particular district has somewhere between 200 and 300 openings right now. And that's tough. So, hopefully
Wow.
they're able to fill those, and hopefully we can get some kids going into education, or some people coming back from a
Right.
different profession that might want to join us. So.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again to you guys and to you, John, for helping tighten up their contract this year and make things a desirable working environment and a challenging time to be an educator. So we appreciate that, and all the folks who continue to return year after year to our district. We've got a great staff. All right. Any questions for Roger? Nope. All right. Moving on to public comment. Just a reminder, the public comment period will be for 5 minutes, and you'll get a warning at 1 minute to conclude. During this time period, you're speaking to the board, not to the audience. The audience could please participate, as we will as well, with respect and listening. And please also make sure that while you are speaking, that you are not violating the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy. And if you're unsure of the legal ramifications of that, please consult first with your legal advisor. I apologize if I'm not able to say first and last name here. I believe Tommy is the first. Dr. Merkel, is that correct?
Tom agrees.
Tommy agrees? You're good? No, declining? Okay, thank you for being here. Next up would be Lynn Jansen. And then following Lynn will be Brenda Bargenquast.
Hello, board. My name is Lynn Jansen. I live right down the road from Mr. Barrett. I've come here tonight to speak to you about MCL 722.675, the Michigan law about disseminating sexually explicit matter to a minor. I ask you to note that this portion of the law does not prohibit distribution of pornography. There are other more severe laws that do that, but only sexually explicit matter. It says in relevant part, and I quote, "A person is guilty of disseminating sexually explicit matter to a minor if that person does either of the following: knowingly disseminates to a minor sexually explicit visual or verbal material that is harmful to minors." Now that you know what the law is, let's talk a little about the practical application. You may or may not know that Chris Becker is currently the prosecutor for Kent County. I don't know Mr. Becker that well. I've only met him on a few occasions. However, his recent actions tell me a little bit about his character. I'm sure you all know that a recent Supreme Court case, Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, sent all abortion laws back to the states to decide what the law should be in each respective state. In the state of Michigan, a Court of Claims judge put a temporary restraining order preventing the prosecution of anyone who performed an abortion while the current Michigan law was examined by our higher courts. In some jurisdictions, that means that a medical professional who performs an abortion during this time will not be prosecuted. That is not the case in Kent County. Our prosecutor, Chris Becker, has said that he will prosecute anyone performing an abortion in Kent County once the law has made its way through the higher courts. That has effectively ended abortion in Kent County. After all, who would risk a prison sentence if the higher courts rule that the Court of Claims got it wrong? How does that relate to a school employee disseminating sexually explicit matter to a minor? Simple. It's against the law. It's a felony. And all the decent parents of Grandville need is a prosecutor who is willing to prosecute the case. I think we probably have one in Chris Becker. You may think that the law prevents the prosecution of teachers or librarians. To a degree, you would be correct. MCL 722.676 talks about parents or guardians and minors being exempt from this law. Where it talks about teachers, in fact, the MCL 722.676, Section 5, Paragraph B, says the law doesn't apply to, and I quote, "a teacher or administrator at a public or private elementary or secondary school that complies with the Revised School Code 1976, PA 451, MCL 380.1 to 380.1852, and who disseminates sexually explicit matter to a student as part of a program permitted by law." So here's the kicker. Grandville schools do not comply. This is the code. Under this law, the staff of this district is only protected from the laws governing felonious dissemination of sexually explicit matter to a minor if it complies with every word of this. This is 338 pages of rules that our schools have to follow in order for teachers and librarians to be exempt from the laws about felonious dissemination of sexually explicit matter to a minor. I don't want to leave you in suspense. It only took me about 3 minutes to find a violation. We parents came to you with very reasonable grievances about a few especially vulgar books with graphic illustrations. We find that this board has been derelict in its responsibility to prevent the dissemination of sexually explicit matter to our children. We now demand that you remove all books containing sexually explicit matter from any section of any school library where a minor may come in contact with it. Should you refuse, the parents of this district wish to inform you that we will seek criminal prosecution of any district employee who engages in the dissemination of sexually explicit material. You may think it is unlikely that Kent County District Attorney Chris Becker will be willing to take up such a prosecution. Personally, I don't know. I do think I have a good sense about our likely next state's attorney, and for the sake of this district, please don't take that gamble. You've proven that you will not act to protect our children. Let's see if you will act to protect our staff. Thank you.
Next up, Brenda Barkencost, followed by Chris Medilli.
Brenda Barkencost, my address is on file. Roger, I'm not sure if you recall how we met many years ago when you were first hired to the district. My husband and I visited you when Obama was holding funding hostage unless you allowed boys and girls bathrooms. Oh, here we meet again. Now Biden is pulling the same crap. It's my understanding that this has been paused by a court, but back then you told me that Grandville schools would behave in a way that you would expect to expect in a conservative community. Well, Grandville schools weren't quite so woke back then. I hope your view is still the same, because I know quite a few parents would be pretty upset if the opposite gender appeared in their elementary school bathroom. And I would say the same thing to you then, even though I don't have a kid in the district. If you decide to do it, and you don't notify parents, and they find out about it, I'm sure many will be pulling their kids. If you do it and don't notify parents, and their child gets walked in on by the opposite gender, I will help them sue your ass off. In schools where they've made all genders restrooms gender neutral, the teachers don't like it because the boys drip on the seat, and the teachers wanted to install cameras to find the offenders. Really? Seriously? You can't make this shit up. Separate bathrooms are very logical because boys and girls have different plumbing, hence the different fixtures in the appropriate bathrooms. I was also disappointed to hear that an inappropriate book was approved at the board meeting last month. Mrs. Gardine apparently didn't like it, but approved it anyway. She must have left her spine at home that week. Mr. Barrett, I heard you said that we just need to accept this. It's the way of the world today. It's just society. Do you think I raised 4 intelligent, kind students that excel at sports, robotics, academics by just accepting the way society is, by lowering my standards, by not expecting more of them? Like, for example, boys are going to see porn. It's just the way of society. Here you go, 10-year-old. Here's an iPhone with the subscription to Pornhub just for you. No, I don't think so. Hopefully you knew before Lynn spoke, that disseminating sexually explicit material is illegal, but if you didn't, you do now. All but 2 board members of this board are a rubber stamp. They are the only ones standing up for parents. If parents want their kids to read the garbage, they can buy it for them. Our children deserve not to be exposed to it in the school library. About a year ago, we had a meeting with Mr. Barrett, and I asked, what would you do if there was a surge of 50 transgender girls who wanted to be boys all at once? What would you do? And the response was, well, I guess we'd have 50 meetings with parents. That was not the answer I was looking for. I was looking for an answer that said, I think we'd have to investigate as to why. What's the root cause of this? Why are so many girls coming with this? Because it just isn't normal. I expected some actual care and concern for the mental health of the child and not just a woke agenda. The left says there's lots of genders, but when you want gender reassignment surgery, there's only 2 choices. That's because there's only 2 genders. The rest are either sexual preference, gay, bisexual, whatever, doesn't belong in school. Another would be a fetish, furries. I'm sure there's more, I don't want to know. And the third is a mental illness, and that's transgender. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness in the same family as anorexia, another type of body dysphoria. We don't entertain anorexics in proper view of their body, so why do we with the transgender child? Mrs. Buck, I don't know your credentials, but as the head of a mental health organization, you should know this. And you're not standing up for the weakest among us is a disgrace. The entire mental health industry disgusts me. Instead of getting these children the mental health they need, they're mutilating their bodies, castrating them, and rendering them infertile. How many of us mothers were tomboys? How many fathers played dress up in their sisters' things?
1 minute.
I'm glad my parents had enough sense not to, poison me. A liberal mother was so proud of how woke she was that she bought these gender books pushing the LGBTQ agenda and then suddenly her 5-year-old daughter came home and said she thinks she's a boy. Well, now this woke mother didn't think those books were such a good idea anymore because she was sure her daughter didn't really want to be a boy. It's all fun and games till it's your kid. Teachers are pushing their agenda. TED Talk assignments for a second year, seems that teacher doesn't fear any consequences. And Dr. Merkel stands at these meetings and tells us teachers can't teach anything but the curriculum. You're lying to our faces and we know it. Stop it. Acknowledging there's a problem and fix it. Stick to the reading, writing, and arithmetic. Based on the stats Dr. Merkel showed us earlier this year, Grandville should be focusing on learning loss and not SEL. SEL is pure evil. Rat poison, you look at the label, 99% is ingredients taste good, but 1% will kill you. SEL sounds good, looks good, but that 1% will kill you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up, Chris McGilly. followed by Michelle Thomas. Chris? Decline? Okay, thank you for being here. Michelle Thomas? Thank you for being here. Mary Paulvin? Thank you for being here. Nuria Gallagher?
Hi. I haven't been to one of these meetings in a long time. I've been very busy with my kids. But I want to talk about what I watched when I was on vacation. I watched one of the meetings when Amy Gardine spoke of why she thought that that book would be good in our schools. And I kind of am coming with like, why don't there be a compromise? Why can't we, if it's eight, I don't know if it's 18 and under, or 18 and over, or 17 and over, I don't know which one it is, but if there are kids that are truly struggling with what that book indicates, that's where I think we have counselors who can talk to them, and then maybe let them introduce them to these books if they're of age. I don't think it's okay to put something out there where anybody can get it, because this way you're not working with the parents. I feel like the solution that I'm trying to bring to the table will help those kids that need a book like that to read I don't know what the word is, to see themselves in that book, I guess. But then you're also protecting all the other kids who don't need to see that, and that's where you're helping the parents. And I believe a school board should do what's right for both kids and parents. We should all work together. But when you allow something like that for anybody to read, it's just not okay in my book, because I don't want my child to ever see that book. And it wouldn't even relate to my child. I have 4 boys. So I saw that book in my son's room, and I quickly pulled it because a girl gave it to him to read. And this is not for everybody. This is not for the majority. This is for the minority of people who go through certain abusive behavior. So I think that if there are kids coming to you guys, counselor is the first person to go to. And then if they think that that book is okay for them, if they're under 18 or 17, whatever the book is, contact the parents first. And I get sometimes like the kids haven't told their parents anything, or they're too scared to tell their parents. But then I think this is where the counselor could possibly make that decision help that kid make the decision, and not have something out there that everybody can grab. Because I showed a few people this book, and they are just sick to the stomach that our schools are even carrying these kind of books. So I feel like even if my solution isn't what you guys like, why don't we work on a solution like that so that we can accommodate all students and parents and the board, so that we can, make it for who it needs to go to. Not everybody. Because you know what, I can tell you, I have 4 boys. These 4 boys are so into girls, and they would find that and read that if they could and just laugh about it. And they're not going to even take that book seriously to what it's intended for. So that's just what I wanted to say. I think that we should have
1 minute.
more of a unity than separation, where this will make everybody happy. That's it.
Thank you for your time. Next up, Julie Dahl, followed by Alan Traxler.
Good evening. My name is Julie Dahl. I guess the correct verbiage would be old business that you guys call it. So just to recap a couple things that I was hoping to touch on. House cleaning. Can we please get a mic back here? We would love a mic. We've requested it several times. To be mic'd would be very much appreciated, especially for you guys. We have a lot of people that are unable to come to the meetings and cannot hear what you're saying. Our last meeting had over 5,000 views. We cannot hear what you're saying. We talk about $70,000 we're dropping on Cisco, and we're putting a $100,000 overhead projector in, auditorium, things like that. Can we please just get some audio in here, please? Second housekeeping is, I brought it up before, but as far as SEL, data points, or the PBIS, all of that, I've asked several times, where is all this data going that you're tracking on these kids? Where is it being stored? What are the security measures around that? Who is it shareable with? When these kids graduate, they have files full of data points you have on these kids. Where are those going and how are they secure? Last housekeeping, as far as retention numbers in the school district, a little concerning to see all of these teachers leaving. We obviously don't want that. Are there exit interviews being held? And if so, are those accessible as far as an overall? Is there a survey? Is there a reason that we have a higher number of retirees? It doesn't sound like comparable to other school districts, but that might be something that would be worth looking into. And as far as new curriculum goes, sounds great. Auto maintenance, aviation, love all that. That's fantastic. Science, social studies. Do parents have a chance to review all of that? What direction are we going here with younger science and social studies? That would be incredible to be able to see what we're bringing into the schools. As far as books go, last week or at the last meeting, you sat and approved Milk and Honey, a sexually explicit book. Whether you believe that or not, it is sexually explicit. It's concerning. No one is saying that. I know a group of us have been labeled as book banners. We want to burn books. Can't believe this is happening in our community. Not the case at all. These books are not appropriate for young kids. If you want to review it with your kids, no one is stopping you. Absolutely not. Jason, you talked about how your daughter read it. That's fine. That's absolutely great. Amy told a story about how it's a beautiful coming-of-age story, and she read it, and it's had impact on people. That's great for that. You guys are not counselors. We need to stick to academics. Academics are falling. Make that the priority, and stop trying to be counselors to our kids. We do not need you to step in that gap when it comes to all of these issues that the kids are having now. Mental health issues are a huge issue right now. But the parents need to be the ones involved. You did it correctly. If you want your daughter to do that, absolutely, review it with her. What I don't want is my freshman walking into the high school library reading this book. Like Maria said, it's not always appropriate for every kid. Why are we doing this? Roger, you talked about how these books have been around for a while. Absolutely. Shame on us parents. We trusted you. That changed 2 years ago, overnight, when you told me I no longer had autonomy over my children as a parent and you took it over. We do not trust you anymore. We will continue to question everything you do. I'll question the academics, the curriculum, the SEL, everything. Question. Because we don't trust you anymore. I'm not saying I don't approve and won't support you, but I will question it where before I blindly followed, and shame on me for doing that. So we will continue to do that. The bigger question is, when you can sit here and approve this, well, first of all, Bob, Brent, thank you so much for standing up against the chaos of it all. Thank you for standing up for our kids and doing what you know is right, because I know it's not easy. And I greatly appreciate your boldness and your willingness to put your neck out on the line and be labeled. But you know it's right, and it's common sense. The bigger question, instead of trying to be everything to everyone, is why are you trying to hypersexualize kids? We know kids go through sexual trauma. We know that there's there, and we want to help them. Putting a book in a library unsupervised without anything can be a huge trigger for people who have been through different situations like this. Unsupervised, uncounseled, unparented can be worse off than anything else. So pull that book. The book Lucky that's been in our school library that somehow got weeded out, that didn't go through anything else. That didn't go through a committee. That didn't go any through process. Why is that? Why was that book just all of a sudden weeded out and didn't go through the process? Because it was so sexually explicit. Because that was porn.
Time.
Thank you for being here. Final speaker for the evening, Alan Traxler.
All right, my name is Alan Traxler. I am a Grandville resident with 2 children in Grandville Public Schools. I spoke last time in support of LGBTQ students. Just as a reminder, the term sex describes the body, which is what parts you have, and the gender is what you feel, how you present yourself, and how other people treat you. I'm just offering this as a recap because I wanted to talk about the bullying and smearing these people, these members of our community, can experience. And that's what it is. It is a smear. There's also a coming health concern that could interlink with this called monkeypox. In contrast to COVID-19, this is a disease that's been around for a long time, centuries, and we have several well-tested, long-existing vaccines for it. Right now, it's only affecting areas like New York, San Francisco, but it's bad enough they've been declared a public health emergency. I have a slight concern that it could wind up in Kent County at some point. It might not, but it might. There's a 5 to 21 day period before symptoms could show up. A person could transmit the disease without knowing they have it. Transmission within the school environment is possible, but I will say that it is low since no one shares, say, towels within a school. And now I'll quote the CDC. Monkeypox can spread through close personal skin-to-skin contact, including direct contact, fluids from a person with monkeypox, touching of objects, fabrics, clothing, bedding, or towels and surfaces that have been used by someone with monkeypox, contact with respiratory secretions. Thankfully, this disease seems to be mild. A person can recover it on their own. The concern is if the person gets a secondary infection, the illness can last for 2 to 4 weeks, in which you have lingering visible sores, which is how it's spread. My concern is that should a child develop this monkeypox, there could be unfounded accusations of sexual abuse. Such smears have already been going around in the 2 cases in New York City where a child was found to have monkeypox. I'm presenting this comment as a whole to our community, to the board, to spread awareness. I just want us to be alert should Kent County develop any cases so that we can prevent transmission within the school environment. And we need to be mindful that there is a reactionary group of people who will get angry, who will want to spread false accusations about what caused the spread and sexual abuse. They're going to go ahead and spread it. It's already happening. I'm concerned it could happen should a case happen here. There's a long-standing trend of spreading fear and hate-mongering toward their very favorite target. So please just be mindful of this as we go into the school year and should a case break out in Kent County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, the next regular meeting of the Grandville Board of Education will be on Monday, August 15th, 2022 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. This meeting is adjourned. 7:45.